Good morning, Bethel. I've been asking myself what things about these days that we're in can give us helpful insights into the gospel. And one story that keeps coming into my mind is the account of the leper in Mark 1, verses 40 to 45. I've always loved this story. I still remember when it became more than a simple story to me, and I realized how much it showed a Jesus who acts in love. I saw the picture. I could almost see the scene. This leper camped outside the city, ostracized, isolated, rejected, comes running into the city and throws himself at Jesus' feet and begs him for help. Lepers in that day were extremely contagious, covered in wasting disease, and Leviticus devotes a whole chapter to make us understand the importance of distance, isolation, testing, quarantine, more testing. Does this sound familiar? Something that this day can give us insight or at least helpful illustration of? Imagine you're waiting in line at Costco, waiting to enter the store. Everybody's keeping their distance. Everybody's keeping 2 meters or more. Then a man comes running from the parking lot, and he's running towards you, and he's sneezing and coughing violently. He's obviously febrile. He's spewing bodily scum in every direction, and he falls at your feet. Now, what is everyone else doing? What direction is everyone moving in? Jesus, in contrast to the crowd, in contrast to his disciples, in contrast to those who would pick up a stone and throw him, and you know the ostracization that happens today when people imagine that you're not keeping your distance, and the anger and the fear that multiplies. Jesus goes the opposite direction. Mark tells us that he reached out his hand, stretched it forth, and touched him. Jesus stretches his hand, reaches out, reaches down, and touches him. It'd be as if he kissed him. It'd be as if he came right into the space and took all of that onto himself. Jesus moves towards our infection. Jesus moves towards us. He's always moving toward us. He's always inside the distance. His arms are always about us. He carries us and he hugs us and he holds us tight. No infection can keep him away. No infection can stop his love. No infection can make him back off. No sin. No fever of our heart. No leprosy of our soul. Not the worst sin you've ever committed. Not the sin you barely even think of. It's too shameful. Nothing can keep him from you. Nothing can make him shy away. He loves you. If you will run to him, you will find him willing to join you. And we know the drill now. This means that Jesus is now infected. He is joined in the leper's leprosy. Jesus, is now for quarantine. He's dangerous. He has become one with us. He bears our sin. He bears our shame. He has tasted and taken and inhabited and absorbed us. He has taken on flesh and blood and humanity and all its brokenness. He takes us and he takes our sin. But he doesn't go to a high priest. He doesn't go to the CDC. He doesn't go for a test kit. He goes to the cross. He carries our infection there. At the cross, the fires of God's wrath descend upon him. The fires of hell inflame about him, metaphorically, but really in his soul. And you know the expression, a snowball's chance in hell? No sin, no virus, none of this has a snowball's chance of surviving. the cross. Jesus perishes, and all our sin and all our shame and all our guilt perishes with him. Nothing remains to harm us. And the virus of death, even, is dead. He will burn down even death's camp. And then, in the resurrection, he returns. He is alive, and he is clean and immune and glorious, and he brings that to us, and we participate in that. That same power that raised him from the dead is at work in our mortal bodies, Paul says to the Ephesians. He will bring us that life. This is our great champion. Amen. Thanks, Bethel. See you soon.